In 1963, a tractor manufacturer drove to Maranello, walked into Enzo Ferrari's office, and told him his cars had a clutch problem. Enzo didn't thank him. Enzo didn't take the note. Enzo told him to go back to building tractors. That tractor manufacturer was Ferruccio Lamborghini, and instead of letting it go, he went home, hired away some of Ferrari's best engineers, and built a car for one reason: to humiliate everything Ferrari made. That's the founding story, and it tells you everything about the brand. Lamborghini wasn't born out of a passion for racing. It wasn't a childhood dream. It was born out of spite. One man got insulted and decided the appropriate response was to build a rival supercar company as a revenge project. 60 years later, that revenge project is owned by Volkswagen, powered by Audi engineering, funded by an SUV, and it's still building some of the most emotionally violent machines ever fitted with license plates. So today, I'm breaking down the 7 levels of Lamborghini, from the car every 8-year-old has on a poster to the ones most people don't even know exist. And by the end, you'll understand the thing the brochure never tells you, that as you climb these levels, you stop buying a car at all. And before I start, yes, I know someone's going to say, you forgot the Miura. I didn't forget, I made a choice. We're here for how the ladder actually works today. Let's get into it. Level 1, the entry point, the Urus. This is where most Lamborghini buyers actually start, and it's the car that every Lamborghini purist on the internet pretends doesn't exist. It starts around $235,000, a 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8, 657 horsepower in the Performante, 0 to 60 in 3.2 seconds, in an SUV that weighs nearly 5,000 pounds. Sit with that for a second. This is a vehicle with a trunk and back seats, and a school-run profile that gets to 60 faster than most dedicated sports cars from a decade ago. The Urus is the Cayenne story all over again. Lamborghini announced an SUV, and the internet did exactly what the internet does. The brand is dead. They sold out. They've betrayed everything Ferruccio stood for. Then the sales numbers came in. In 2023, Lamborghini delivered over 6,000 Urus units out of roughly 10,000 total deliveries. Do the math. The SUV is 60% of the company. And here's the part the purists never want to hear. Without it, Lamborghini cannot fund anything else it builds. Every V12 flagship, every limited hypercar, every screaming track special further up this list, they exist because the Urus pays for them. So who actually buys this? The real estate developer in Miami who needs back seats for his kids, but also needs every valet in South Beach to know exactly who just pulled up. The Instagram influencer whose entire content strategy is the car. The footballer whose Urus is parked next to 3 other Urus models in the team lot, all of them slightly different colors, like a uniform nobody agreed to wear. Here's the honest take. The Urus is not a driver's car. That's not an insult, it's a category. It's a character in the owner's personal narrative. It's the cheapest way to cast yourself in the role of person who drives a Lamborghini. And at $235,000, that's exactly what it sells. Not performance, a part in a story. Keep that idea in your head, because it changes shape at every level we climb from here. Level 2, the Huracan. Or rather, what the Huracan was, because Lamborghini discontinued it in 2024. 10 years of production, over 20,000 units sold. The best-selling Lamborghini sports car of all time. A 5.2-liter naturally aspirated V10, 631 horsepower in the Technica and STO trims, 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds. Starting price, around $210,000 for the final editions, though most sold closer to $270,000 once the options were loaded on. And every single one of them sounds like the apocalypse clearing its throat. Here's why the Huracan matters more than most people understand. It was the last Lamborghini built with a naturally aspirated V10 and no electrification whatsoever. No hybrid assist, no turbocharging. No electric motors quietly filling in the bottom of the torque curve. Just 10 cylinders, climbing all the way to 8,500 revolutions per minute, delivering what I can only describe as mechanical violence. That engine is gone now. The replacement, the Temerario, and we'll get to it, uses a twin-turbo V8 with hybrid assist. On paper, it's faster, but the sound, The thing that made a Huracan unmistakable from 3 blocks away is different. And in this context, different means diminished. A turbo muffles, a hybrid smooths. The rawness gets engineered out, which is why this car is quietly becoming something else. Used Huracans are now entering the $150,000 to $180,000 range for earlier models. As the last naturally aspirated V10 Lamborghini ever made, these are going to be studied by collectors the same way people now study the last air-cooled 911s, as the end of a bloodline. So if level 1 was about being seen, level 2 was about being heard. And the people who bought it for the right reasons knew the engine was the entire point. Everything after this is the industry slowly taking that engine away and charging more for what replaces it. Level 3. The Temerario. Lamborghini's brand new mid-engine sports car and the official replacement for the Huracan. This is where Lamborghini steps into its next era, and the engineering tells you exactly where the entire industry is heading. A 4.0-liter twin-turbo V8 paired with 3 electric motors, combined output of 920 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 2.7 seconds, starting price around $300,000. So who buys the Temerario? Start with the obvious one, the buyer who was always going to buy a Huracan but waited a year too long, and now this is the car on the floor. Then the McLaren cross shopper, the one who wants a little more drama in the driveway. The Ferrari 296 buyer who test drove both and chose the one that made his hands shake. But there's a fourth buyer, and this is the one that actually matters. A buyer who didn't exist 5 years ago. The hybrid curious performance buyer. Someone who genuinely wants electrification, the instant torque, the tech, the efficiency story, but absolutely refuses to give up the theater of an engine. Lamborghini built the Temerario for that exact person. And here's the open question the brochure won't print. Whether that person exists in large enough numbers to sustain 20,000 units over a decade, the way the Huracan did, is the bet Lamborghini is making right now. The next 5 years answer it. This is the first level where the car isn't proven yet. It's a wager on who the next Lamborghini customer is going to be. Level 4. The Revuelto, Lamborghini's flagship. The car that replaced the legendary Aventador and now carries the entire weight of the brand's identity on its roof scoop. A 6.5-liter naturally aspirated V12 paired with 3 electric motors, combined output of 1,001 horsepower, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds, top speed 217 miles per hour, starting price $608,000. The Revuelto is Lamborghini's answer to the question every supercar brand on Earth is being forced to answer right now. How do you electrify without losing your soul? Ferrari answered it with the SF90. McLaren answered it with the Artura. Lamborghini answered it by refusing to give up the V12, by keeping all 12 cylinders, bolting on electric motors, and landing the combined figure at exactly 1,001 horsepower. And that number is not an accident. Somebody in marketing understood that 4 digits is psychologically different from 3. 999 is a number. 1,001 is a statement. But here's what truly separates the Revuelto from everything below it on this list. You cannot walk into a dealership and buy one. The Revuelto is allocated. Lamborghini decides who gets one, based on your purchase history, your relationship with the dealer, and your loyalty to the brand. The first 2 years of production sold out before the public reveal, before most people had even seen it. So if you want one today, you have 2 options. You're either on a waiting list measured in years, or you're buying one on the secondary market at a premium that would make your accountant quit on principle. And this is the exact line in the lineup where the relationship flips. The money is necessary, but the money is no longer sufficient. Hold on to that, because every level above this one is built on it. Level 5. The Special Editions. The Aventador SVJ. The Huracan STO. The Huracan Storado. This is where Lamborghini takes its standard models and turns them into something that borders on irrational. Start with the Aventador SVJ, a 6.5-liter V12, 770 horsepower. It held the Nürburgring production car lap record when it was released, 900 units built. Original price around $517,000. The SVJ is the car that proved Lamborghini could actually compete with Ferrari and Porsche on a racetrack, not just on a boulevard. It set that ring record legitimately, and the owners have never, not once, let anyone forget it. Then the Huracan STO. This is basically a GT3 race car with license plates, rear-wheel drive, 640 horsepower, a rear hood made from a single piece of carbon fiber, because Lamborghini's engineers wanted to reduce the panel gaps, and at some point, someone in the room said, "What if we just made the whole thing one piece?" And apparently nobody stopped them. Around $330,000, built in limited numbers and already appreciating. And then the one nobody asked for, the Sterrato, Lamborghini's answer to a question no human being had posed. What if a Huracan could go off-road? Raised suspension, a roof rack, underbody protection, rally-inspired design. It looked completely insane. The internet adored it. Lamborghini built it purely because they could, and every single unit sold out immediately. That's the pattern at level 5. These aren't better commuter cars. They're more extreme versions of cars that were already extreme. Level 6. The limited hypercar tier. The Scion, the Countach LPI 804, the Invincible, and the Authentica. This is where Lamborghini stops building cars and starts building monuments. The Scion, a 6.5-liter V12 with a supercapacitor hybrid system, 819 horsepower, 63 units built. Original price, $3.6 million. Current estimated market value, north of $5 million. And the engineering here is genuinely clever, not just expensive. Lamborghini used a supercapacitor instead of a conventional battery because supercapacitors charge and discharge far faster than a battery does, which means the hybrid system can add power without adding the dead weight a traditional battery pack would. The engineering is genuinely innovative. The production number, 63 cars, is genuinely absurd. Both things are true, and that combination is the whole point of level 6. Then the Countach LPI 804, a tribute to the original Countach, which is arguably the most important design in supercar history. The original, from 1974, invented the template, the wedge shape, the scissor doors, the engine sitting behind the seats. Every supercar built after it is, in some way, a response to it. The modern tribute borrowed the Scion's powertrain. 112 units built. Original price, $2.6 million. And every single unit was allocated before the car was even announced. That's the thing to understand about this tier. The most desirable cars are no longer sold, they're offered. And the offering itself is the product. Being asked is the thing you're actually paying for. Level 7. The final level, the Veneno and the Centenario, the cars that exist at the intersection of automotive engineering and fine art. The Veneno, built in 2013 to celebrate Lamborghini's 50th anniversary, a 6.5-liter V12, 750 horsepower, 3 coupes built for customers, 2 roadsters, that's it. Original price, $4.5 million. Current estimated market value, $8 to $12 million. The Veneno looks like a stealth fighter crashed into the Lamborghini factory, and the engineers just decided to go with it. There's no subtlety, no restraint, no pretending this car could ever blend in anywhere on Earth. It was designed to be the single most aggressive-looking object on 4 wheels, and it succeeded so completely that nothing built since has even tried to top it. Then the Centenario, built in 2016, 770 horsepower, 20 coupes, and 20 roadsters. Original price, $1.9 million. Current estimated market value, $3 to $5 million. Named for the 100th anniversary of Ferruccio Lamborghini's birth. And that name is where the whole story folds back on itself. Because here's the irony of level 7. Ferruccio Lamborghini started this company because he wanted to build the greatest driving car in the world. A car you would actually get in and drive. A car that would beat a Ferrari on the road, not on a shelf, not at an auction, not under a dust cover in a climate-controlled garage. 60 years later, the most valuable Lamborghinis ever made are cars that nobody drives. They appear at concours events, they get photographed, they appreciate, and then they go back into storage. Ferruccio probably would have hated that, and, let's be honest, he probably would have cashed the check anyway. So step back and look at the whole ladder. At level 1, a guy buys a $235,000 SUV so the valet knows his name. At level 7, a collector spends $10 million on a car he will almost never start. On the surface, nothing about those two people is the same, but they're doing the exact same thing. They're buying the version of themselves that the rest of the world can hear coming. 60 years ago, this company was founded on spite to build the best driving machine on the road. Today, it's owned by Volkswagen, runs on Audi engineering, is funded by an SUV, and builds some of the most emotionally violent machines ever bolted to a license plate. The car was never really the point. Every other car company makes cars. Lamborghini makes entrances. If this was useful, subscribe. I break down how things actually work, not how the brochure describes them. See you in the next one.